Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Flood. The Thunder Bay Police Service had to close roads today due to heavy rain and flooding, urging motorists to avoid certain areas. The Thunder Bay Police Service had to close Isabel Street between Fort William Road and Memorial Avenue as a result of the rain that left a significant portion of the street flooded. Lisgar Street also faced a closure between Water Street South and Fort William Road that left the street and the parking lot area completely flooded as well. The Thunder Bay Police will be monitoring these sections of the roads, and as of now, there is no estimated time of reopening. And hundreds of hot Thanksgiving meals were given out at Salvation Army's Journey to Life Center today with help from the Thunder Bay Professional Firefighters Association. Mitchell Ringos was there and has the details.
For 24 straight years, it's become a tradition for the Thunder Bay firefighters, along with family members, to provide the Thanksgiving meal and then to serve that dinner to make this a special day for those attending. In association with the Salvation Army, they prepared 360 meals to be given out as a walk-up or drive-through dinner. The meals were prepped in the kitchen, where they would then be put in to-go boxes to be sent out on a food cart to the front entrance to be given out to the long lineup of waiting cars. Thunder Bay Fire Rescue Captain Kevin Anderson talked about why the firefighters keep coming back to help the Salvation Army and to take part in such a special day.
It's very gratifying for us that we can give back to the community. People coming in, they really enjoy it. I mean, the men we served here, almost everybody came back and said how appreciative they were and how great a meal it was, and I'm sure it's the same thing outside.
And with today being World Homeless Day, Executive Director for Salvation Army's Journey to Life Center, Gary Ferguson, says it's always amazing to see the smiling faces of the attendees getting their meal and to have such a great partnership with the firefighters on a day meant to make everyone feel at home and loved.
You know, there are many lonely people in the community. There are many people that are with COVID and all the financial challenges that they face that just don't have the ability financially even to get the meal, but even spend a little bit of time with my staff saying hi, talking. That short little interaction sometimes is great for people.
Both Ferguson and Anderson say they don't see an end to the partnership that continues the tradition of their Thanksgiving community dinner. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Changes are happening quickly for Thunder Bay's Roots to Harvest as they have begun transitioning into Canada's 15th community food centre. The goal in this transition is to provide the region with more national involvement surrounding dignified food access and the root causes of food insecurity. The incoming developments include a new community dining room that will feature nourishing sit-down meals twice a week for elders and seniors. Roots to Harvest will also add a second community food market location, offering fresh fruits and vegetables at wholesale costs for people on limited incomes. Executive Director Aaron Beagle says it's important to have Northwestern Ontario represented in the nationwide fight for food accessibility.
We need to bring the context of the work that we do here and the realities that people live in here to that national conversation. So that's what we are really excited about, is really elevating the conversation locally, because there's a lot that we can learn from everything that's happening across the country, and there's a lot that we can offer to a national conversation also about how we are addressing food insecurity in, the remote communities, in our regional space, in a short growing season, in all those different ways that we work, because Community Food Centres of Canada, has the ear of our national leaders, is at larger tables that are discussing this at national issues, and we want to be at that table.
Perhaps the most noticeable modification will be their inevitable name change, as Roots to Harvest will soon become Roots Community Food Centre. And Kiiwetinoong MPP Sol Mamakwa pressed the Ford government at Queen's Park this week to resolve a dispute with optometrists. Ontario's eye doctors stopped offering provincially insured services like eye exams in September, saying OHIP rates cover only about half of their costs. They have refused to rejoin mediation with the province's current offer of an 8.5% increase and $39 million in a one-time payment. In question period Thursday, Mamakwa said the province needed to come to a fair deal with the group, while Health Minister Christine Elliott said it was up to optometrists to come back to the table.
And Kiiwetinoong doctors have shared with me with their concerns about the high incidence of eye disease and extra care needed in the region. People in Kiiwetinoong are among the sickest in Canada. Elders and seniors right across the north need regular eye care exams because of the diseases they have.
We recognize that Indigenous children across Ontario need access to eye care. They go back in school. Many of them may require glasses, for example. Well, that's why we're asking the optometrist to please come back to the mediation table. You can't negotiate if there's only one party there.
The ever-evolving landscape brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic presented the Thunder Bay and District Humane Society with an opportunity to revamp their operations to best accommodate potential pet owners. And that's played a big role in this year's record number of adoptions. Kurt Black reports.
With so many people isolating during the pandemic, the demand for cats and dogs rose dramatically, which was welcomed by the Thunder Bay and District Humane Society, which was busy rehoming animals in need of a loving home. In the past, the Humane Society was open for public viewing 7 days a week, but during the pandemic, they adapted to a mix of virtual and in-person meet and greets through appointment for adult cats and dogs. Executive Director of the Humane Society, Shauna Beaulieu, says this new approach has helped find the best homes for the animals.
Has really allowed us to be able to step back, make each of those appointments really count, and make sure that we're matching up adopters with an animal that absolutely best sees them, because we're anticipating them coming in, which is great. So we can have a look at their application and make sure that we can introduce them to the best animals for them.
And the results from this new method have been greater than anyone at the Humane Society could have anticipated. The number of adopted animals this year has already exceeded the previous record.
So 2019 was a real record year for us, and we had adopted out approximately 500 and so cats. And if we're looking date to year, this year we're way above 600. So we're actually adopting out a lot more animals than we were in the past.
To find a perfect furry addition to your household, visit the Humane Society's website to see all available cats and dogs and to fill out an adoption application. Kurt Black, TBT News.
It's been almost 2 months since fully vaccinated Americans were allowed to drive into Canada following the closure of the border in early 2020 due to the pandemic. These were the images captured in August with travelers lined up for hours in International Falls, waiting to cross into Canada for fishing and other purposes. Fort Frances Mayor June Call says it's great that tourism outfitters are finally receiving guests, and friends and family of Fort Frances residents can come up to visit, but she thinks it was a little too soon to have opened the border and feels Canada hasn't been able to control the virus within its own borders.
We need to make sure that we're all safe in our own country, traveling back and forth between provinces, and we know we're not. We know that we have cases here in the Rainy River District right now, and obviously those cases had to have come from somebody traveling outside of the area, because we haven't had very many cases. We haven't had the opportunity to go from province to province until just a while ago, and now all of a sudden we're getting some cases in here, so it does concern me.
Call says she is deeply concerned about people not following public health measures like wearing masks. The Biden administration has extended the border closure on its side until at least October 21st. And the curling club and marathon could end up an empty lot should no buyer come forward for the property, which was taken over by the municipality. The club was closed several years ago due to declining membership numbers. The property then entered into tax arrears, and the municipality has decided to sell it in hopes that someone will reopen the club or develop the property as it sits now. Mayor Rick Dumas says around $44,000 is owed plus registration, and despite what it looks like, the structure is still in decent shape, but he notes if it isn't purchased, the building will be demolished.
We do not want derelict buildings in our community for the fact of unsightliness for residential members, as well as the safety factor for youth in our community. So we've always been very, very keen on that, and if building doesn't sell and it goes into disrepair, we immediately tear it down. So this will be no different. We're hoping somebody's going to come along and make an offer.
The municipality had previously dealt with a similar situation with the former DH Foods Mall, which was torn down in late March. That site is currently being redeveloped with the construction of a Tim Hortons now underway. Join now with Kurt Black. Kurt, lots of stuff going on in the hockey world right now, especially locally with the North Stars.
Well, yeah, without the NHL season starting yet, Alex, I think the hottest team in Canada has to be the North Stars. They made a triumphant return to Fort William Gardens this weekend. We'll have the highlights.